Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. And seeing how we are still in the month of Nostalgia-ween, I figure we would play a little game, simply known as the Stephen King Drinking Game. Good old Stephen King. His prose are great, but his stories are crap. He has wonderful setups, but disappointing payoffs. He creates some great characters, and fortunately you get to see them over and over and over again. And one of the best ways to see his continuing patterns is to look at the ass-numbingly long TV miniseries, It. Based on the Stephen King book of the same name, It is another one of those films that loves to succumb to the melodramatic cliches that always seems to make it into every one of his stories. But what really surprises me is how many people say they're actually afraid of this movie. And that's why I've invented this drinking game to calm your nerves. There's a lot of movie to watch and a lot of booze to drink, so let's take a look. First of all, take a shot if your Stephen King story takes place in Maine. Well, that didn't take long. Yeah, our story takes place in Maine, where everybody has a checkered past, bullies make up most of the population, and cheesy lightning effects reign supreme. In this particular town, we come across a girl who sees a rather unusual sight. Hi. Tim Curry! And if that's not scary enough, it looks like he's coming from the Black Mass of Ronald McDonald. So the kid gets murdered as Mike, the only black man in Maine, notices that this is the 6th recent child killing. So he calls up his old childhood friends to let them know what's going on. He starts with Bill, who grew up into the back of a horse's ass.
This is Mike Hanlon, Bill, from Derry.
This causes him to have a flashback, which I'm not going to have you drink to every time it happens, because if you did, you'd be dead in the first 12 minutes.
Please, Bill, tell me a story.
Go bug somebody else, you little cootie. I don't feel so hot.
This is Bill as a young man, played by Jonathan Brandis. Piss off! He makes his brother Georgie a paper boat for him to sail outside. Thankfully, it's the sunniest rainy day in history, so he can go outside and enjoy it. That is, until the missing member of the Insane Clown Posse comes to join him.
There's cotton candy and rides and all sorts of surprises down here. And balloons, too.
Do they float?
Oh, yes. They float, Georgie. They float.
I'm getting surprisingly aroused the more I talk about how much they float.
You float too!
So the kid gets eaten by a sloppy dissolve effect as his sad brother goes into his room feeling responsible. And it's fair to point out that this is actually a creepy scene here. The book starts to have its time of the month when Bill calls for his folks to see it. But the parents, surprisingly, don't seem to see the blood on the book.
What were you doing in Georgie's room?
Nothing. Dad, listen!
I don't want you ever coming in here again, son. Do you understand?
How dare you try to mourn the loss of your one and only brother! Cut back to the present day as grown-up Bill decides it's time to go back to Maine.
Leave? Have you lost your mind? We're in the middle of making a movie.
They can replace me.
Yeah, if I saw Tim Curry in a clown suit, I'd probably leave production too. Oh, by the way, just to avoid future disappointment, let's take an early shot for a supernatural creature who's never given an explanation of exactly what it is or where exactly it came from.
Oh, that's good letdown.
Meanwhile, we cut to another childhood friend named Ben, played by John Ritter.
Would you believe I used to be fat?
I bet you were real cute.
No, not just fat, but a regular butterball. You bet your fern I was. We used to say that as kids. You bet your fern. But I was F-A-T.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, fat kids are hot. Tell me about your boy tits.
Hello?
Haystack, it's me, Mike.
You're dead, fat boy.
Okay, these flashback transitions are getting a little silly.
Extreme close-up! You're dead, fat boy.
Listen, it's come back.
Ritter says no to his hoe on the go as he sits atop a tall building and ponders his past about being the new kid.
Welcome to Derry.
Thank you, Miss Douglas.
Oink, oink. What a porker.
Henry Bowers.
You will stay for 1 hour after school every day this week. Now, report to the principal's office.
You're dead, fat boy.
That I'm going to allow. Threatening his life is okay, but calling him a porker is simply going too far. So Ben meets up with a girl named Beverly. They seem to hit it off pretty good, but the chorus from Grease has other ideas.
I want to make sure you remember my name.
I'll remember, Henry. I'll remember.
How am I going to make sure?
Oh, I almost forgot! Take a shot for the one-dimensional bullies that have no development or redeemable qualities whatsoever! Silly me, I thought I came across one that had some form of humanity. Now, so he loses the bullies as he comes across the kids from Stand By Me, I mean his classroom. And of course they become very good friends. But that doesn't help smooth things over with his stepfamily.
Hey, Mom, listen to this. Benny's in love. Give this back. Oh, Mom, my stop that! Benjamin, Hanscom, stop that immediately, you young ruffian. I hate you. You're only here because Mom says it's our Christian duty.
Hey, take a shot for a heavy-handed slap against conservative fundamentalists. What? That doesn't count? Well, surely there's gotta be some overblown wine fest against Christianity. Oh, alright. I'll have to read another one of your stories to see that religion is evil. So Ben comes across some sort of sewer entrance where the evil clown is waiting for him.
Come here, son. You'll like it down there.
You'll never have to grow up.
Daddy?
Yes, my dear. Would I lie?
They float. They all float.
So the clown doesn't really hurt him or anything. He just sort of points at him and calls him fat. What a jerk. But we cut to yet another childhood friend who gets a call. Beverly, who's hitting the sack with a coworker in the 90s who's so successful that his mullet is almost reaching his knees.
I've got to go to Maine. That was Mike Hanlon on the phone. You remember the call at work today? He's an old dear friend. I have to...
Oh yeah, I forgot. Everybody in a Stephen King story is a jackass except for the insecure poet and or loser. I think that calls for another shot. Why are you all spinning?
You get into bed.
No.
Then maybe you can leave this house in 2
No!
days instead of 2 weeks.
Not ever, again!
Bev, you need me. Bev!
Nice emoting there, guy.
Bev!
Bev! Luckily, a cab comes to take her to our next flashback, where we see that Ben has left a poem for her.
What you got there?
Nothing.
Let me see that. You been fooling around with some boy? Sometimes I worry a lot.
Daddy, please.
Sheesh, no matter what scene this chick is in, she's always getting a slap in the face.
You get right the hell back here, baby! Or before God, I'll whip the skin off of you!
Oh, of course! Rednecks! Can't forget about the rednecks. That calls for a shot. So she meets up with Ben and heads over to the rest of the geeks and outcasts who pretty much make up the only fucking decent people in this town.
It's the River Nile. And count them 4 sphinxes. Richie Tozia's my name. And doing voices is my game.
Hey look, Seth Green is playing a funny geek who spends most of his time doing voices. I'm far too tipsy to make a joke out of that. So the gang gets together and starts making a dam. Why? Because it's fucking Maine, and by God, that's as exciting as it gets. Hell, there's even some famous jerk-off writers who write about it. That's how exciting it is up there. So we see Bev and her father back at home when alcoholic! They're always in Stephen King stories, alcoholic! So she goes to the bathroom sink where the clown's snot bubble clogs up her drain and gets blood all over the place. Just like before, the grown-ups don't see it.
Get to bed.
Bloody boogers. Sorry, I think the alcohol served going to my... The camera's pretty. Anyway, cut to the next childhood friend getting a call, which appears to be Andy Dick searching for his happy pills.
Where are you going?
I gotta go back to Derry.
Derry? Why
would you want to go back to that dirty little town? There's nothing for you there. There never was, Eddie.
Why is it these people have a talent for surrounding themselves with the craziest fucking nutballs? Is anyone in this world outside the main characters likable? What kind of water are they drinking in Maine to make them such assholes? Insert, here's a big surprise, another flashback. So we find out that Eddie was the kid with the inhaler, as we see that his mother had a tight grip on him even back then.
See you tomorrow, Eddie.
Eddie has to rest tomorrow. I don't want you to play with him anymore. No good will come of it.
But Ma, they're my friends.
You don't need any friends, Eddie, except for your own Ma.
I think that's bad. You should see his brother. Speaking of shower scenes, Eddie gets a doozy from the clown as he walks in the shower room and finds out that the showers in the gym are stretching out. Yeah, that's about it. Kid can leave whenever he wants, but doesn't, so it's kind of stupid.
This is a little inconvenient, Eddie. Just hold on while I make a few adjustments.
Oh no! He's being attacked by the California Raisins! Come on! That stop motion was horrible!
Here I am, Wheezy. Oh, come back anytime. Bring your friends.
Then what happened? What, you're gonna just stop there? Seriously? Come on, fill us in! What, did he just stare at him awkwardly for the rest of the time? So we cut to the Seth Green kid all grown up when... Oh, hold on. Let me guess. The phone rings and our flashback happens!
Mike Hanlon from Derry.
We see Seth Green chased by the bullies again, big shock, and runs into the principal. So he's ordered to go downstairs and come back up with a mop. Come. But he's afraid because he's suddenly attacked by Teen Wolf. Wait, let me guess again. He turns into a killer clown, talks about his floating fetish, shows off his sharp teeth, and then does nothing.
I'll show you how to slow down.
Why doesn't he just eat these fucking kids? He's eaten like half the other kids in the neighborhood. Why doesn't he just finish them off? I mean, what the hell is more important in his time? Rawr, I got you now, little boy! Oh my god, it's almost 3!
In West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Alright, so you heard everybody else's backstory. Where the hell is this Mike guy who's making all these calls fit in? Well, guess what? The answer will be revealed in... another fucking flashback! It turns out Mike was the new kid on the block when, of course, he's attacked by the bullies. Are these the only fucking bullies in the town? Come on, kids, give the skinheads across the street a chance! They chase him over a fence as apparently they're immune to barbed wire as he comes across the usual gang of rejects. So they throw rocks to defend themselves as they discover that bullies apparently aren't immune to pain. They talk about how they've all seen the killer clown and discover that he might have been around for as long as 200 years. This literally gets the picture going as Mike's book comes to life just to make the kids piss their pants again.
I'll kill you all. I'll drive you crazy and I'll kill you all.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but first you gotta throw them!
I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true.
Why don't they just close the book? Wouldn't they be able to shut them up if they just slammed that thing shut?
I'll drive you crazy and I'll kill you all. I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true.
I'm just a sweet transvestite.
So they vow to destroy the clown as Mike, back in the present, plans to make one more call. So Mike makes his last call to Stan, resulting in, oh, blow me if you don't know.
Courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
They find out that Bev is really good with the slingshot, so she's the perfect candidate to shoot Silver into the monster. Friggin' Silver!
Mother's earrings, baby. Solid silver. That's just stuff in movies.
Yeah, that's just stuff in the movies. This is a killer clown that can turn himself into a werewolf. You know, real life. So they go into the sewer where they think the clown is. As it turns out, the bullies are there waiting.
Where are they going? Down in the sewer, stupid. Yeah. And guess what? They're not coming back out.
Did you get that, audience? Okay, in we go.
So they go into the sewer to try and fight the monster. This is really suspenseful because I have no idea which characters are going to make it out alive except for all of them.
Now, before you die, I want you to think about every rock you threw.
Stop! The one-dimensional villain sees murder as the only option. That's in every Stephen King story. I said it called murder a shot. Hello, friends. I'm invited to be the Benjamin boy. Are you tired, run down, listless? Do you pop out at parties? Are you on propionate? Okay, so this bright flashing light that's supposed to be the clown, I guess, comes in and kills 2 of the bully boys. Well, wait, you forgot to scare them for 2 months and brag about how things float. Oh well. One kid gets sucked through a pipe like Super Mario Brothers, and the other kid just turns into Billy Idol. Why doesn't he just kill that kid? Because he is a very stupid clown. Meanwhile, the kids hold hands because that apparently weakens the monster's power. It's like a Care Bear special, I guess. When Tim Curry pops up and finally tries to kill one of these brats.
This is battery acid, you slime!
Yeah. This is what you were afraid of the whole time, guys. An acrobatic stop-motion clown with a flashlight coming out his head. I'm drunk and even I'm not afraid of that. So they think they killed it and make a promise that if he's not dead, they'll come back to finish the job. Well, as years later, the clown is back and we find Stan is just a filthy cheater. Oh no, she dropped her can of beer. Isn't that the drink that the movie Steel made famous? Oh gee, that was nice of him, to leave the world's briefest suicide note. Did he really feel that would explain everything? Oh wait, before I go, I should probably explain the situation. And they can figure out the rest from there. So Mike and Bill reunite as Bill sees just how much has changed and how much has not changed.
Yours? Hey, I'm a bachelor, Bill. That's all I need.
Apparently running around talking about killer clowns scares the ladies off. Meanwhile, Richie, the Seth Green kid, gets a different kind of welcome.
Come on up, Richie.
Try
It's those wonderful balloons where even though no one can see or feel them, it still makes people somehow flinch.
If you see... Excuse me, sir. Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You do? Well, you better let the poor guy out.
Maybe it's because I'm drunk or something, but Tim Curry's a riot. Were people really scared by this guy? He's hilarious. I don't even think his scene is supposed to be this long. I think he just decided to stay on set and annoy everybody.
That I had to go. That I had to get cleaned up.
Tim, you're done for the day. Can you please piss off?
Tell him I'll see him tonight.
We have a movie to film here, Tim, and you're really not helping. Please leave. Okay, we'll just shoot around you. Don't worry, people, he'll get punished. He's gonna be in Charlie's Angels soon enough. Both Eddie and Beth have similar incidents where the clown pops up and scares them. But again, why doesn't he just kill them? Boy, they're really banking on balloons being scary, aren't they? Do they really think that's gonna threaten people? If that's the case, maybe this movie was a stalker film. Okay, so they meet up at a Chinese restaurant for a nice big reunion. Well, the camera circles around the table enough times to make you puke, though to be fair, maybe that's from this obnoxious drinking game. We see the only surviving bully is now in a mental institution, where he's transformed into Matlock.
Up here. You helped me once, remember?
Oh, hey, it's a beautiful Tim Curry out tonight.
I am the shadow on the moon at night, filling your dreams to the brim with fright.
Meanwhile, back at the restaurant, we see that the fortune cookies have been replaced with Marilyn Manson's wind-up toys, which of course scares the living shit out of them. This leads them back to the library where they try to figure out what the heck's keeping Stan so long.
You tell that loser that if he hasn't left already, he's a dead man. We all managed to show up. I have never felt so much love in one room in my entire life. It's great to be back in Derry, breathing in that old Derry air.
Let me continue to be incredibly inappropriate as we build up to the obvious dramatic payoff in 3, 2, 1.
Stan is dead.
Oh no, we were assholes! Well, let's mourn his loss within our flashback.
He said he didn't mean to go into that house, but this voice kept whispering to him.
Okay, I must really be gone because that looks like a mummy. Seriously? We're using mummies now? This isn't a Stephen King movie, it's an Abbott and Costello knockoff!
He was trapped. The only thing he could think of to do was to hold his bird book out in front of him like a shield and say as loud as he could the names of all the birds he could remember. Hold his bird book out in front of him like a shield and say as loud as he could the names of all the birds he could remember.
Why?
Speckled grouse, Baltimore Oriole, gray egret, hammerhead, woodpecker, brown thrush.
Oh, well, and it worked? What the hell? What sense does that make? What, are mummies just allergic to the sound of birds' names? European swallow!
I hadn't thought of it until just now, I swear. He said, I looked into its deadlights, and I wanted to be there.
Deadlights.
Okay, what is up with these stupid sound effects whenever there's a flashback? I mean, will any sound effects do? I looked into his deadlights. You looked into his deadlights? I looked into his deadlights.
Usher, got something here. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Oh my god, more balloons! More balloons! Hide your family! Get down, balloons! Ah! Seriously, will you knock it off? There's balloons everywhere in this picture. They're not frightening. I mean, come on! When is a balloon ever gonna look intimidating? So the scariest fuck balloons come out as they see Stan's head is inside. This would be somewhat scary until...
Sorry I'm late. Well, let's see who's here. Richie, you still here? We never expected you to stick around. Nice nose job. No one would ever suspect. Haystack, putting on a little weight, huh? Wheezy, how's your sex life? What's your sex life?
This is turning into a stand-up routine at Jeffrey Dahmer's house.
We all float down here, and you will too. They all float!
So I guess they don't find the talking head that funny, and they get the hell out of there. Meanwhile, we see the bully escape from the mental hospital by... It's supposed to be scary? No, it's not. It's supposed to be funny. It's a dog dressed up as a clown in slow motion. Ah? That was really supposed to be scary? Well, it's not. It's not. So after that... Okay. They figure out that the clown attacks or feeds, if you will, on people every 30 years. Oh, and apparently the whole entire town is in on it too. How do they know that? Get this. Because when Bev was a girl getting beat up once, an old man went back inside. Yeah, Because that one dick cheese didn't help her, that apparently means the whole town is crazy.
I couldn't believe it. He just turned around and went inside. That was when it really hit me. There was something terribly wrong in Derry, with Derry.
Isn't it obvious? Well, anyway, Matlock attacks Mike, but they manage to fight him off and kill him. They bring Mike to a hospital as Bev starts to analyze the situation.
Why is it doing this? Why does it hate? Why is it so mean?
You would think that a psychotic killing clown would be a little nicer!
How could I be so blind?
If you see it now, you're not blind anymore, Bev.
Boy, this chick really gets around, doesn't she? I mean, I think she's literally felt up every single person in this group. I can see why they hung out with her. She's easier to get into than an art college.
Be careful. You can't trust anyone.
If anybody asks, party got out of hand, dancing on the table, you took a fall.
Anyone who's seen me dance will buy that.
Well, that's great. And how are you gonna explain the dead escaped mental patient? You're not seriously suggesting you walk out of here and leave him lying there.
You're not seriously suggesting we walk out of here and leave it lying there.
Yeah, that's what I'm suggesting.
Why don't you call the police?
This whole town is it in some way, all of them.
Bill's right.
Really? We're still on this? Because one old fart went in and jerked off, that means the entire town is crazy? Here's an idea. You're all seeing killer clowns. Maybe you're crazy. Did that ever occur to you, you crazy sacks of crazy? So they all decide to go back into the sewer and kill this thing once and for all. So what kind of weapons are they bringing, you think?
I don't suppose anybody thought to bring anything really useful like a machine gun.
I brought this. It's the only thing I saved from those days.
Oh, that's great. They're bringing a slingshot. They can either bring a machine gun or a slingshot. Rambo or Dennis the Menace. You're going down, Mr. Wilson. Pew, pew, pew.
Oh, come on. Guys, what the hell are you gonna do now? Sing Kumbaya? Wake up. Take a breath. You smell that? That's death.
You hear the wind? That's death. You feel the ground? That's death. You feel the itching in the back of your head? That's probably a mosquito. Mosquito of death! So they make their way down to the retired Star Trek set where Bill's wife happens to be trapped in the cave. Yeah, apparently she was heading to Maine to bring her husband back and the clown got her. Which is pointless seeing how he can take on any form, but I digress. As they get to the heart of the sewer, they finally see the monster for what he really is. What? 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 We waited 3 fucking hours for that! You can't be serious! You can't be serious! If I heard that a movie called It was just building up to a big silly monster, I think this would have been a better payoff! I mean, seriously? Seriously? My god. So you're telling me this whole fucking time we were building up to... spiders! A giant legion of spiders! God damn it, Dr. Smith, this is really what you and Stephen King find frightening? Yes, my dream is finally realized. What smells like urinated whiskey? Oh, it's me. I've been playing the Stephen King drinking game. Oh, good God, man, that's been known to kill people! Hey, you know what else has been known to kill people? I'll tell you. This! That's right. Hold still. I'm gonna shoot all 5 of you. You're going down, Spider-Man! Not the superhero, the you! Woo! I'll just shoot myself out. Yeah, you better run. So yeah, they're fighting a giant spider, an unbelievably fake-looking one too. They all start to get sucked into its deadlights until Eddie has an idea.
This is battery acid. Now you disappear.
Well, that was a stupid idea, guy. Maybe that machine gun theory would have worked after all. So Eddie gets killed, but luckily Bev shoots it in the glowing ball sack that seems to kill it. Oh wait, no, sorry, they tip it over like a cow first and then they rip its heart out. Truly, this was a battle of wits. So they all go back home to their normal selves except for Bill's wife, who seems to be in a zombie-like state because of the giant spider. But somehow riding downhill on a bike seems to make her better. So yeah, the character that had like 2 scenes, a few lines of dialogue, and barely any presence, she's gonna be okay. Yeah, I know you're all on the edge of your seats about that, but yeah, she's gonna be okay now. So of course, all that build-up leads to an unbelievable letdown, which is the ultimate staple of Stephen King, which means that gives us our very last shot. This movie sucks! I mean, the stuff with the kids is tolerable because the kids themselves are actually pretty good actors, and of course Tim Curry's a lot of fun, but half the adults are just terrible. The plot makes no sense, it's melodramatic as hell, and it all suffers from those Stephen King stereotypes we've seen a bajillion times before. And plus, what's with all the balloons? They're not scary! Why do they keep thinking they're scary? What, were they high? I mean, seriously, who in their right mind would ever think a balloon is scary? Hey, Critic, I got a new script here. Tell me what you think.
Perché così malvagio?